going on, guys? My name's Dan, and today we're going to check out the Furibee Q95 Dinosaur. Roar. First off, I gotta say, GearBest and Furibee have been on a roll, literally coming out with one awesome quad after another. Every time I check the website, I see a couple new quads. Crazy. So the Dinosaur is a 95mm micro quad, and it comes fully assembled and in two options, either plug and play or a FreeSky XM Plus receiver. Banggood's probably not too happy about this one, since the Q95 does look a little similar to the, well, a lot similar to the Lizard. There are, however, a few differences. I just took a quick glance and noticed that the camera mount, VTX antenna, prop, motor guards, as well as the components were all different. Even though this is a budget micro, it comes with some quality components. Just to name a few, we have what they call a mainstream F3 flight controller. I see what you guys did there. It's an omnibus. And then we have a 4-in-1 BL Heli S ESC and some 1104 brushless motors rated at 6000 kV. You'll probably notice I didn't mention the camera. Well, you saw that clip in the intro. The camera on this thing is not so good, and the noise didn't make things any better.
Alright, let's open her up and see what's all included.
I've seen a couple of different Furibee products being packed up like this, where it's just one square piece of foam. It's efficient and it saves a lot of room. The only thing is it's a pain in the butt to remove. It's just very snug in there. I always feel like I'm gonna mess up the props. Alright, so get two sets of 2035 look like Gemfan props. The other one is already installed, and here it is, the Dinosaur. Alright, I'm just gonna take a couple measurements before we get started. Here we go. Alright, let's take a closer look at the Dinosaur. The biggest difference between the Lizard and the Dinosaur is the weight. At almost 20 grams less than the Lizard, the Dinosaur is starting out with a huge advantage. Normally the frame takes up the biggest chunk in the drone's overall weight. The frame measures in at 2mm thick for the main plate and 1.5mm thick for all other carbon pieces. The carbon itself is very strong. There is hardly any flex in any of the pieces. In order to even get it to flex, you really have to put some force into it. All the components on this drone are very well protected. It comes with landing skids pre-installed, but also included are a set of extra landing skids, but this one has prop guards built in. The camera and the antenna is also protected thanks to these two carbon pieces that sticks up. I guess it was meant to protect the antenna, but since the Q95 uses a dipole, it's unlikely that it will even be damaged. Plus, if you don't like the way the two pieces look, you can just take it off. For the motors, we're looking at some 1104 brushless motors. They are rated at 6000 kV and they come paired with some Gemfan 2035 props, which you get two full sets of. These are good motors. They feel durable, no up and down or sideways play. When the motors are paired with the 2035 props and a 3S LiPo, the resulting performance is very impressive. The flight controller is not labeled by name, but this is an Omnibus F3, or maybe it's a clone. Either way, it comes with popular features like Betaflight OSD, black box logging, and it uses the MPU 6000, allowing you to run gyro sample at 8K. It's a great flight controller, which is probably the reason why 90% of the micros that I've tested use this very board. One important thing I need to mention is that even though the board is capable of running OSD, it does not come wired to run it. The VTX and camera combo only has power and ground running from it to the flight controller, so in order to get it working, you'll have to figure out where you can connect the video lines. Another win for the dyno are the ESCs, going with a 20 amp 4-in-1 BL Heli S, where you can run any protocols from 1-shot all the way up to D-Shot 600. On the other hand, the Lizard uses a 10 amp ESC. The biggest drawback on the dyno is the camera and VTX combo, and I'll get into that in a sec, but first let's go over the specs. The camera has a 1/3 CMOS sensor with a 700 TVL resolution. It's switchable between PAL and NTSC modes with a 120-degree field of view under PAL and a 150-degree FOV under NTSC. The VTX is a 40-channel that can switch between 25, 100, and 200 milliwatts. So from the specs, it sounds like it's going to be a great camera, but as you can see from the video, it's not so great. The picture is very dark. I even bumped the brightness and contrast all the way up on my goggles, which kind of just washed the picture out. There is also the noise, or the lines, which I think is partly due to the tune. Too high of a D can cause noise, and I'm not too worried about this as it should be an easy fix. There's nothing some low ESR caps and twisting of wires together can't fix. With that being said, I was able to fly pretty far away, so once I clean up the noise, I think this transmitter should work pretty good. One other thing I wanted to mention was the VTX gets pretty hot, and using a higher power scheme will only make it hotter, so unless you're planning to fly really far away, I would suggest using 25 or 100 milliwatts, which is plenty powerful for this micro. And the last couple of parts on this micro can be seen here from behind. Here we have a buzzer and LED combo, along with a power connector, which was initially a JST connector, but since all my batteries are XT30s, I decided to switch over. Just keep in mind, since these micros are getting more and more powerful, they are also getting more and more power hungry. The XT30 connectors are better able to handle the higher amp draw. And although it's not a requirement, I of course think it's a good idea to switch over. Alright, I'm gonna run through Betaflight setup real quick and just show some of the things that I changed. I'm using an S-Bus receiver on UART3. For those of you who got the PNP, UART3 is on the outer pads like this. Select D-Shot 600 and uncheck the disarm motors. That is if you want the motors to always spin after arming. The max you're gonna be able to run this setup is 8K 4K. Anything higher will cause the CPU load to jump to around 45%. Now you can change your receiver. Mine is the XM Plus, which is an S-Bus receiver. The only features you're going to want to have selected here is the LED strip and black box if you plan on using it. Make sure to have your trims properly set up. And here's how I like to have my switches. And as for the PIDs, I basically just bumped up a few numbers just to get pitch and roll to be a little bit faster. Alright, let's head to the park and see how it flies. Alright, first up is 2S line of sight. Not bad. Pretty good for a 2S. It's nice and responsive. It's very zippy. What more can you ask for? This is a punch out on 2S. Actually, you know what? It's just a tad bit underpowered on 2S. It just felt a little weird there, or maybe it was my battery because it was running low.
This is 3S line of sight. Wow. Do a punch out. Do a punch out. Zippier. Do a punch out.
A huge difference in power. That feeling of being underpowered is just completely gone. I guess I should reiterate my comment from earlier when I said it was underpowered. I guess I'm just a little biased because I'm used to flying these micros on 3S. For those who are going to be flying on 2S, this micro being underpowered would probably be the last thing on their mind. Alright, let's check out some FPV footage. Definitely not the best camera. You can obviously see there's some issue with lighting, and the noise you can fix, but the picture quality, I don't know, maybe you can change the lens out, but then again, it's probably not even worth it. You're probably better off just getting a whole new camera. Alright, so just a little recap. The Q95 Dinosaur is one of the best bang for your buck micros out on the market today. Mostly great components on a lightweight yet durable frame, comes together and creates incredible performance. So if you're looking for a micro on the cheap, this is the drone for you. And with that being said, thanks very much for watching. See ya. Ah, crap. I forgot to mention an issue that I'm having. The only thing is, this may have happened after I crashed a couple times, but sometimes when I hit full throttle and forward pitch, the Q95 will pull back, almost like one of the motors give out. I'm not sure what this is, but if I'm able to fix it, I'll leave how in the description. Back to the music.